This is the Evolve III laptop computer, affectionately known by some as the Jankopotamus. And it comes built in with 64 gigabytes of memory, of which about 59 is usable, and about half of that is occupied by the operating system. So that only leaves you 29 gig only to use for whatever you want. I got a 128 gig USB 3.1 thumb drive, real small Samsung here. I'll put a link in the description for transferring files to it, but I quickly realized that I wanted more internal memory storage. So I got a 128 gig solid state drive, and we'll show you how to add it to it. And this is a solid state drive. It's the brand name is Dogfish. It's a 128 gigabyte M2 format or style solid state drive, and we're going to add it to this here fine computer. The tools that you're going to need are a number 0 Phillips head screwdriver and a relatively small flathead. I don't know what size this is, but get a small one. And so we're going to take off these screws. Now, be careful with these screws, the 3 screws and the top here. So this is the back of the computer, obviously. I would call this the top. That's where the monitor is. That one, and that one are longer than all the other ones. So we're going to take these off now. So I would recommend keeping them in a tray or something in the same pattern that you're taking the screws off in. Now to get the back of it off, what I found easiest was to get a fingernail. This back is on tight, but just with little clips, just little snaps. So you're just going to have to get a fingernail under the edge somewhere like this, here. And if you just pull back like that, it'll start snapping off. And I just kind of run a nail under it. It's probably best to peel it off around the edges rather than just pull. Okay, after removing all the screws, and run your fingernail or credit card around the under this side of this, it will come up, and it just pops straight up. And it just has little clips. If you can see these little clips here, this is what you're fighting against. You don't have to move it left or right or up or down, just pulls straight up. So what we have inside the computer is, this is where the memory card is going to go, and this is a cellular modem. And if you don't see this cellular modem on your computer, you may as well stop right now, because yours is the kind that doesn't have it. There's 2 different kinds of this computer. So the first thing you're going to need to do is, if you look closely at these little blobs here, these are the antennas for the cellular modem, and they put a little bit of silicon right there and right there. So if you watch this, what we're going to do is come right under here and just peel up the silicon. And the silicon is just to help the connector not come off. So we're going to take that, and I'm going to get my little micro pliers and get that out of there. We're done with that. We're going to do the same with the other one. Let's see if I can use this to grab it and peel it off just like that. And now we can take off the Wi-Fi connector, or the cellular antenna connectors. And the way they come up is, you're just going to want to pry them up from, reach underneath the part of the back shell here, and just go straight up like that, and they'll pop right off. And it just comes straight up with it. Right here, straight up. And then what I did with mine is, we'll bury these underneath the tape later on to protect them. So now you're going to want to unscrew the cellular modem. There's one Phillips head screw here. Okay, number 0. So save that screw because you're going to reuse it for the memory module. And now we're going to pull out the memory module. So ground yourself by touching the copper shield back here so we're not giving any static to anything. Grab this by the sides and just pull out. Don't wiggle back and forth too much. Just pull straight out like that. Now with your memory module, again, ground yourself by touching the copper here and bring the memory module in at a slight angle, just a little bit of an angle upwards like that, and it pushes straight in. And see, when you sit this down, you can see how the semicircle here lays right in perfectly on that little ledge. And congratulations, you just added memory to the computer. And now we're going to button it back up. First thing we're going to do is secure these wires here. So what I did is just pull up on the protective tape here a little bit for this guy. But they're not powered and they're not going to hurt anything if we can just get them to behave and sit underneath the tape there like that. And even if they come out, it's not a huge deal. So to put the back on, just lay it straight down and push down until it's clicked in all the way around the perimeter. And put your screws back in. All right, we've got the back of the computer on, and now this is Windows 10, so what we need to do is come in here and make the SSD ready to go. So get into disk management, and once you go into disk management, it's also called create and format hard disk partitions. So then you'll see the top part of disk management has the various partitions for your existing C drive. The bottom part shows the C drive down here, and this is the new drive. So you need to do two things. It doesn't have a drive letter right now. So first thing we need to do is change it to a GUID partition table. So if you right click or 2-finger tap, right, let's make sure we're in this box right here. With this selected, 2-finger tap, convert to GPT disk. If it already is a GPT disk, it will say convert to master boot record, so we don't want that. So we're good, we got GPT. Now come over here, click in this section, and you're gonna right click or 2-finger tap and select new simple volume. And then you get this little wizard and you select next, and that's the full size of the disk, so we want the full size of the disk. So we select next, and we're gonna assign the drive letter D, which is good. Leave the rest of that alone and click next. And we're going to format the drive with NTFS using the default. You can give it a name here if you want. What I did on mine is just call it drive D, but it's going to be the D drive, and you can change that later on if you want. And I've got it selected for perform a quick format. So click next, and this is everything that it's going to do, which looks good. And click finish, and you're all set right there. Now you have a drive D, and it's healthy, and you've got 119 gig usable space. There you go. Little extra bonus for you here. This is a external power cable that you can use with the Evolve 3. You know, it runs off of 12 volts, so it has a kind of a funny size connector, and I found the one on Amazon that will work with this computer, and you can put your Anderson connectors or whatever you want, connect these to a 12 volt battery and charge and run the computer. I will put a link in the description.